The Suvie Kitchen Robot is supposed to be super simple and make your cooking life simpler because you're busy and you don't have time to meal prep and then make dinners and meals every night. But is it simple enough for a child to use? Well, you don't have to wonder that because we tested it. So I had my 6-year-old try out the sous vide using one of the frozen meals from the Suvie meal plan. As you can see with this meal kit, all we have to do is cut open the tray that has the pasta and meatballs and then stick that in one of the metal trays. And that's gonna be the top tray. And then for the bottom tray, we're just gonna open up the package of peas and then season it with olive oil, salt, and pepper. And while she's doing that, I will talk to you about my general thoughts on the sous vide and how it works. If you guys are liking this content so far, please consider subscribing. We've had this robot for about a year, and overall, I really like it. So the thing that's really cool about the sous vide is that you can set it up in advance and it can refrigerate the food for you. So say you want to make something with your own food, but you want to prep it the night before, you can have everything set up, ready to go inside the sous vide. And then you just set it for the time you want it to be ready, and it will keep it refrigerated until the time that it's supposed to start cooking to have the meal ready when you say. And it does all that calculation for you. You don't have to figure it out. It just does it. The only thing you have to do is make sure that the reservoir is filled to the max line with water and put the food in the trays and then tell it when you want it to be ready. And it really is that easy. So let me talk to you about some of the settings. So there are several different cook modes. So if you want to do it from your own meals, you would just go to cook, and then your options are roast, bake, broil, sous vide, slow cook, steam, reheat, egg mode, proof, or none. And that's because you have two sections, the top and the bottom, so you might just be using one or the other. And I have done that, so you do actually need the none option. And then you have back, so you could choose a different option from here. So at this point, then they also have the list of sous vide mix and match or sous vide meals. And I'll get into that one in a second. Refrigerate, if you want specifically to set it up to refrigerate, settings, about, and then back. Each sous vide meal comes with a card like this. So it has the instructions for how to put everything together, which one goes on the top, which one goes on the bottom, what seasonings to add. And then it also has this really handy circle that is an RFID chip. And when you hold it up to the machine, you line it up with the circle that's on the sous vide machine. It reads it and knows exactly which meal you're cooking. And then you can choose to cook now or schedule it for later. We're going to go ahead and cook it now. But if you wanted to choose to schedule it for later, you would just go down to schedule and then set the date and time that you want it to be ready. And it will keep it refrigerated for you until it's time to actually do the cooking, and then it'll be ready to go. You can also adjust the cook time and the cook settings in the app. So if you're making something that you came up with, it's not a meal, and you put a time or temperature in wrong, you can adjust that. You can also change the schedule. So if you're making your own thing or you're making a meal kit and you decided you wanted to cook it now, but then realize you have an errand to run and you actually need it to be ready later, you can just adjust those settings in the app. It's pretty simple to use, and I didn't have my child try that out because you can actually do so much on the machine. You don't have to have the app, but it's a nice to have. Also, if for some reason your meal kit does not scan properly, you can look it up on the machine, but you can also find it in the app and then send it to the machine. So that's really handy about having the app. It just kind of gives you more options and lets you do a little bit more, even if you're not right near the machine at the time. Once your meal is in, you've selected it, you have it set to cook or schedule for later, it's just gonna go. Then you're going to get a beep when it's done, and it's going to also tell you in the app that your meal is ready. At that point, you can check it. So if you're making a meat dish like chicken, you might check to make sure it's at least 165 degrees. and decide if it needs to cook more. Other ones will have certain steps afterwards. This one does not, which is part of why we selected a pasta dish. But sometimes they'll have steps like to broil for another 5 minutes or something like that after you've taken one of the elements out. So it's very simple, and in fact, a child can do it, except I did not let her pull it out of the sous vide because the oven mitts we had were way too big, and I thought she was probably going to get burned and food would end up on the floor. So yes, the answer is yes, it's simple enough for a child to do, but they should definitely have supervision and a little bit of help with pulling it out at the end. Do I like it, and do I think that it's worth the money? Yes, that's why we have one. I also really like that when you get the meal kits, that it takes about the same amount of time to cook it that it does to order delivery. So instead of ordering delivery, you can just put in a meal kit, and in about the same amount of time it would have taken to get your food, you have food that you already had in your freezer, and it's cooked at home, you know what the ingredients are, and it feels a little healthier, and it has like the same quality as the food you would probably have ordered out. Probably better quality than if you were planning to order some kind of fast food. It does also kind of reduce dishes because it's just the 2 pans. That's the only thing you're ever washing. And if you're doing one of the pasta meals and it's already in a pan, you really don't even have to wash that top pan. It's good to go for the next one. So you're just washing 1 pan, and it can fit in your dishwasher in the bottom rack, and it gets cleaned perfectly every time. And it has just been really nice to save us on both the work of prepping and cooking meals and the work of cleaning up after meals, because I am always exhausted at the end of the day when I finally have time to catch up on cleaning. I hope you guys found this video helpful. If you are interested in getting a sous vide, you can check out our referral link, and that'll give you $100 off on the sous vide, and then it will also give you 16 free meals with your first meal kit orders. A referral link obviously helps us out too, so we appreciate you guys just clicking on that and using our link. It'll just help out our channel. Thanks for helping us grow. And if you guys want to see more, please consider subscribing.